Just in, the PlayStation VR2 is going to be launching in February, priced at $549.99. Did you catch all that? Sorry. Yeah, PlayStation VR2 launching February 22nd, 2023. And it's going to cost $550. What do you think? How does this make you feel personally?
I'm conflicted, my friend, because I balked at buying the Steam Deck for pricing reasons, thinking realistically I'm not going to use that, or there are other things I can do in order to play things like the Steam Deck that I'm not going to need that. But like $549 for something that is even more of a specific case use than the Steam Deck is a lot of money for me to think about spending on this.
Yeah. For me, and we've talked about this before, had they said that Half-Life Alyx was coming to this day one, I would buy it. I would buy it, and then I would be interested in experiencing all sorts of other VR stuff that I had never done.
Even at $549?
Maybe. I don't. Maybe.
Like, there are other ways.
It's a really. Yeah, go on.
There are other ways to do that, and I think like spending that much money on it for something that is tied to your PlayStation, which is, it's not even a price thing at a certain point, because if I'm going to spend that much money on a VR headset, I want it to be on a computer where I can like download new songs to Beat Saber and break it and do this other stuff where these kind of mods and stuff are, to really get my use out of it in weird ways. But like this at $549 for something that's locked in like that, for a couple of maybe like 1 or 2 a year, maybe 10, 15 hour experiences that are like top tier VR experiences, I don't know if that's going to be worth it.
Agreed. I think that like this headset is very impressive in terms of its specs.
Yes.
Especially when compared to other things. And so I think that price is honestly pretty good for those specs, especially with the what are they called? The controllers, the dual or the Edge? No.
Includes
the Sense,
PSVR2
the VR2 Sense.
Yes.
Like I think those are really cool in concept. I've never seen one, obviously, but yeah, like I do know what you're saying. I just think that I want to play Half-Life Alyx, and I would love to have that potentially be my gateway into other VR stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
and because I, like PC gaming for me is something that is so like, it's so foreign and not something that I'm really good at or really enjoy. Whereas console gaming, like I do, like that's where I feel really comfortable. So if I had a VR headset that was connected to console stuff, I think that would work a lot better. The problem, I guess, though, is that there are still a lot of unknowns about this headset for me to even consider wanting to buy this. For example, if it worked on PC, that would be very cool. It's my understanding the original PSVR kind of worked on PC with a little bit of finagling, but like there's no word on like what sort of compatibility this will have with it. Similar, like, how does it plug in? Does it go into the USB-C port on the front? If not, that's a problem. Or a USB-A port, sorry. If not, like, if it has to go through the HDMI, like the other one did, like, forget it, right?
Yeah. Perspective here, and I know this is a beefy system, and when you look at all the specs next to each other, I could buy a Meta Quest 2, that's the one that that's not connected to anything. I can buy that for $400.
Yep.
And like at a certain point, that is a lot of money already, $400 or something like that. Plus, this one is an extra $150. Yes, it's top-of-the-line hardware, top-of-the-line VR, top-of-the-line all this other stuff. But then you have to add the game price on top of that stuff, too. I'm sure these games aren't going to be $10. You know, they're going to be full-price games. There's no backwards compatibility. And as someone who was a pretty big fan of the original PSVR and got a lot of use out of that, the use was very, very stunted throughout me owning it. And I really enjoyed playing things like Moss and Moss Book 2. But like, I for me to be like this, someone who's like this, who is pretty jazzed about this stuff, like this is going to kill Sony's VR. There's no way that this is going to be something that is a mainstream VR system for people. It's not going to bring in new people to really enjoy this, because ultimately when we're looking at this, yes, I know it's $549, but you're only limited to people who have only $549. You're limited to people who have PS5s who can play this. So that is not only the price of a PS5, it's now the price of this, which makes this expensive. And yeah, gaming PCs are expensive, but like for a console player who's not used to spending that kind of money, who goes crazy if you decide to charge $600 for a console, that's just not the market for this. And I'm sure these sales aren't going to be great. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't think so. But like, I don't think these sales are going to go well. And even if it is at first they go well, I don't think long-term people are going to keep buying these. And I think the components in here are way too expensive to suddenly cut this by $300.
Agreed. Yeah. Like it's definitely not going to see any sort of price dip until at least like 2026.
At least,
right? This is launching in 2023.
Maybe if it was like, to me, I think the price point in my head that I was hoping for would be 400.
Me too. Like that's like the sweet spot of like, yeah, that's expensive, but hey, yeah, it's not more expensive than a PS5.
I would easily throw money at that.
Yeah,
I did sign up though for a pre-order though.
Well, like that's the thing. Like, what's tough though is keeping current with this sort of thing. Is like, well, if you want to stay current and be able to talk about this like 100%, like you might have to, but.
Yeah, and I don't know. I got the mail for the message for the email when it first came out to do it, but it's still kind of like that non-committal. Yes, you sign up to get in the queue or whatever. But I just don't foresee me like following through. And I know for a fact I won't, because I pre-ordered God of War Ragnarok today, and I got an email saying your pre-order is going to be charged, and I was like, wait a second, I did not do that for the PSVR2. No, I did not do that. And I checked. I was like, oh, thank God, it was Ragnarok. I was like, oh my God. I was like, so I knew at that moment when that comes due, I will not be in line to get that day one.